guys, welcome to another video of ours. This topic we'll be covering about my favorite type of books, right? And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to let you know one of my goals for this year in 2018 really was implement a game plan that's going to help develop myself and also that's going to be beneficial for my career, right? And so my goal was to read at least one book per month, and that's going to be in the span of 1 year. That's going to be 12 books, of course, and that's something that's maybe small to many of you, but it is a goal, right? And maybe I'm going to be reading more than 12 at the end of the year, who knows, right? So let's get started. The very first book is going to be The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And this book, I came across this book thanks to Aaron Din. I was on a call with him and he just really gave me advice within my career, and one of the books that he recommended was this book right here. And after reading it, it's really a great book if you really want to develop and become better at sales, or I'm not sure, whatever you're doing, right? It's taking another step to really improve. So for example, The Slight Edge, everyone is going to have an expectation, hey, I need to make 20 calls today. And really this slight edge is going to have you become extremely competitive. So let's say if your goal is to hit 20 calls, that's a small goal, right? You always want to push for 25, 30. That's going to separate yourself from your team, your colleagues. And another thing is really some of the pointers here that he recommended and said was that success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. So besides from just having this light edge, he also really emphasized happiness, and that's something that we all have to take into consideration. Whatever you're doing, you gotta be happy in order to exceed in what you're doing. As you can see, it's the subtle art of not giving an F. And really what this book is very straightforward, right? It's something that we all take into consideration. It's very straightforward, but sometimes we tend to make things more complicated. So for example, if something bad happens, whether it's going to be within our family or work related, we tend to really take it into the micro situation and make it into something bigger. So what this book taught me was that you gotta take everything as it is and just go with the flow. And that's how life is, really. And really one of the pointers that this book taught me was that it says you'll be growing appreciation for life's basic experiences, right? The pleasure of simple friendship, creating something, helping a person in need, reading a good book, or just laughing with someone you care about. So just that quote itself gives you perspective, like, hey, there's simple stuff in life that we should take into consideration, even when there's a whole bunch of shit that we have going on. So yeah, this is a simple read, but it'll definitely be beneficial. And I'm probably gonna read it once or twice, at least, another time. Awesome, wow, good throw. My third book that I came across, I'm not sure if you guys know, it's Simon Sinek. And this is one of his top books that he came out with, and Start With Why. And this guy, he's brilliant. The reason he came up with this idea is that start with why. So whatever you're doing, why are you doing it? You have to really dig deep to identify the reason and your why. Whatever it is in life, like why do you want to go for this career, or why do you want to get this certain amount of money? For what? To prove to someone else that, hey, what's that word? I don't know. To prove something, right? Everyone has their own why. Well, my personal why is, whatever I'm doing and I want to succeed, it's to really give back and help out my parents, because they sacrificed a lot for me. So, within my career, I want to keep doing well, keep growing, and that way I can really help them out as much as possible. And maybe that's why I'm in sales, because recruiting, sales is where that's gonna give me the most potential to really help out my family. So start with why. Everyone has their own why. What's your why? Comment down below. So ego is the enemy, right? To be honest, you guys all know how important it is to keep your ego in check. I mean, everyone has their own levels of ego. Some may have higher, some may have lower. But what this book taught me was that whatever you're doing, right? Yeah, I have to be humble, but have a willingness to learn. So always, be open to learning from whether it's someone that you're working with or someone that's really not even the same level as you, or someone can be below your level. And of course, your managers or your upper executives. So you always gotta have an open mind and a willingness to learn, and that's gonna separate yourself from the pack and just leverage all of the knowledge instead of having a high ego and not taking anything into consideration. Yep, ego's the enemy. So Relentless, this book, I just came across this book just because I was watching a vlog, and really this book, Relentless, is by Tim, and he's the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, some of the top athletes in basketball, and another one would be Kobe Bryant. And as you guys know, Relentless is all about having that approach that, hey, all about the small details, that you gotta be relentless to making sure that you're practicing your craft. So I mean, with Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, they broke down their game in really small details, and they really narrowed it down and practiced hours and hours and get better. So why does this book relate to me and what I'm doing? I mean, for me, you have to be relentless. So whether it's in my career, I definitely just gotta continue to grind it out, put in the hours, and of course, with the hours putting in, of course, hopefully that will expedite the process and give you a better learning experience through a lot of trial and error, and that's gonna be relentless. So one of the books that I've gotten, and it's from my girlfriend, she bought it for me, and it says 0 to 1, right? So it's a note on startup and how to build for the future. And one of the key points that this book really recommended, and it touched base and something that I can relate to, is recruiting. And it says recruiting is the core competency for any company. It should never be outsourced. So pretty much, as you know, how important it is for recruitment, right? And it just touched base and gives me a lot of tips and pointers to really point out and what to look for in a candidate. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm really in the beginning stage of my recruiting career, and it's probably about like almost 2 years now. So that's just another good pointers. And it's another great quote that was mentioned, is that I thought stronger relationship would make us just not happier and better at work, but more successful in our career, even beyond PayPal. So we set out to hire people who actually enjoy working together. So that quote touched base that recruitment's important. I mean, whether you're recruiting for your company or just you're trying to build your own business, right? Of course, you have to bring in the right people for your culture and someone that you can really work with, whether it's going to be 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, someone that can really bring positive energy and leverage whatever your weaknesses are. So that's the important factor for recruitment. And I'm pretty sure not many of us really think about that, but okay, it's okay. It's pretty much the engine for many companies. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that ties up my top, I would say, 6 books. This is probably only half of the books that I've read. But again, if you guys have any recommendations, I'm always open to reading more books. Just comment below or just send me a message on a book that you recommend, maybe your top 2, top 3, and we'll share knowledge and we'll go from there. Cool? Alrighty. Thanks for watching, guys. Which is very similar to what she's doing. I found that I'm really good at communication, so I find myself really doing sales and or other jobs that requires a lot of communication and connecting with people.